He got mad because I threw the fucking ball at him.
Here I'm on my sniper shoots brah, and today we're gonna go over Marksman Sniper. Marksman Sniper is pretty fun. It's a lot of white damage or weapon damage. It doesn't have any tech damage abilities except for Orbital Strike, which I don't really use. And yeah, so I mean, even your stun, your maim, is a weapon damage ability. So if you have the, let me just pull up the dummy here and show you. So see how it has white damage here? So your stun, it can miss on targets that are evading or have really high defense rating, you know, like a tank or something like that. Like, you do have a chance to miss this stun because it deals weapon damage. So that's just, you know, something to keep in mind. I'm gonna go over the skill tree here real quick, or the traits and stuff. So Marksman Sniper is basically 4 skills in your rotation. I mean, for the most part, except for your takedown, which is your execute. This is your execute when people are below 30% max health. But for the most part, everything else is, you're just going to be spamming, you know, snipes, ambushes, follow-throughs, and penetrating blasts. Okay? And the most important things to know here is that every time you use an ambush, or 2 snipes, or a full cast of penetrating blasts, it resets the cooldown on your follow-through. Okay? And follow-through on its own has an 8-second cooldown, but you know, you're going to be spamming a lot of snipes and ambushes and penetrating blasts, and in between these casts you're going to keep on resetting follow-throughs. Okay, so the idea here is that every time follow-through is available, you use it so that you can get the cooldown back faster every time you cast an ambush or 2 snipes or penetrating blasts. Okay, I'd say the rotation on Marksman Sniper is not so much the hard part, because the rotation is actually very short. The harder part to focus on Sniper is the use of your utility skills and your defensive cooldowns, because you have a ton of them. Okay, and so let's just go over the defensives and utility skills first, and then we'll talk about the rotation after, because the rotation is actually pretty simple. Okay, so first of all, you have your signature roll, okay, like this. Whenever you use your roll, when you're in Marksman Sniper, did you see that entrench come up? So the first 3 seconds of using your covered escape, which is your roll, you will get entrench. And what entrench is while you are entrenched, you're immune to CC, basically. Okay, you can't be stunned, you can't be pushed back, and you're also immune to interrupts. Okay, entrench here is a actual ability that you can use, but you have to be in cover, so you have to crouch first, right? You see how, well, I don't have a target dummy up, so some of them are blacked out, but on the dummy here, I can use, you know, my attacks. I can't use follow through because I have to use one of these first, and I can't use takedown because it's not below 30% health. And all these other skills that are blacked out is because you have to be crouched first. Okay, so once I crouch, now I can use my other abilities, which one is your cover pulse, which is a knockback. Okay, it looks like this. It knocks back enemies that are standing around you in all directions. Okay, and then you can use your entrench, and when you use your entrench, so you get this extra little shield here, and it's noticeable. You know, entrenches you into cover, becoming immune to all controlling effects. Okay, only grants protection while in cover. So if you get up and move, you're no longer entrenched. Okay, until you get back into crouch, and then your entrench comes back up. Okay, and it lasts a really long time. Okay, see, it's still available. Okay, lasts 23 seconds. All right, and another skill we're gonna go over is evasion. So green little ball around you. You are evading all melee. All weapon damage abilities, so all white damage. Okay. And then we also have diversion here. So diversion, you can click it and aim it. You can either, let's say you're entrenched over here and nobody is targeting you, but there's a group fight over here. You know, you can throw the diversion on your friends and, you know, help them to evade attacks, because what it does is it reduces accuracy by 45%. Okay? So either use it on your friends or use it on yourself. Okay? When you get collapsed on by a bunch of melee, you know, the natural tendency, especially if you haven't played a sniper, is to get up and run, right? Or try to kite and get away. The only way you should actually try and get up and kite is if you CC them first and then pick up and run, right? Or by using your covered escape, okay, your roll, okay? Because as soon as you get up and run, you know, you're gonna get choked, you're gonna get stunned, and then you're gonna die. So try to be. It took me a while to get used to this class. This is like my least played class, or one of them, but I feel like you know, I've played it enough now to at least give you guys a beginner's look into how to play Marksman Sniper. I'm by no means, you know, the best Marksman Sniper out there, so you know, if you have suggestions or whatever, you know, throw it in the comments. It would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so we went over our covered escape, we got evasion, we have our diversion. Next one we have is our ballistic shield. Okay, so ballistic shield you can use outside of cover, you know, like this. Okay, and what it does is it reduces all damage taken for yourself and all allies inside the shield, okay, by 20 seconds, by 20%, and it lasts for 20 seconds. Okay, and then another great utility we have is Imperial Preparation. So this reduces the active cooldowns, or actually it finishes the active cooldowns on evasion, countermeasures, shield probe, cover pulse, entrench, and covered escape. Okay, so shield probe is, you know, just a damage reduction tool. You know, use it whenever you're taking damage. It has this little probe that orbits you and it absorbs a little bit of damage over time. Okay, 10 seconds. And then we have countermeasures. Countermeasures is your it's a PvE skill that lowers threat by a moderate amount. So if you're taking aggro from PvE stuff and you want to drop threat, then this is what you use. But for PvP, we're taking this utility point here, which makes countermeasures purge all movement impairing effects and increases your movement speed by 75% for 6 seconds. Okay, so if you need to pick up and run, countermeasures. Okay, and then you can run a lot faster. Okay, also what it does is that second part of the utility, the final shot of series of shot and penetrating blast knocks back the target if they are within 10 meters. So your penetrating blast, let me get the dummy here. Your penetrating blast is an offensive, you know, skill that's part of your rotation, but it can also be used defensively. So you shoot the target multiple times, and on that last shot, if the enemy is within 10 meters, they will get knocked back. Okay, and this skill has a reset too with sniper volley. So when you use sniper volley, you reset the cooldown on penetrating blast, and you increase your alacrity by 10%. Okay, and it lasts for 15 seconds. So let me pull up the dummy here again. So let's say you're over here and you're fighting and you're doing your rotation or whatever, and then somebody jumps on you. You can go ahead and use penetrating blast, knock them back, use sniper volley and reset your penetrating blast, and then go ahead and use it again if you so choose. Okay, alright, next up on utility skills we got flashbang. Flashbang is your 8-second single target mez. It has a 35 meter range, so very long range. unlike operative, where you have to be, I forget what the actual distance is, but it's pretty close, like 10 meters maybe. Okay, so single target mez, and then you have shatter shot. Okay, shatter shot just reduces healing received on enemy players. It cuts the healing by 20%. So kind of like Marauder, where you use crippling slash. Okay, shatter shot. Then you have leg shot. Leg shot is a root. It has a relatively low cooldown on 13 seconds, depending on what your alacrity is. But yeah, leg shot can be used, part of your rotation too. Like, I tend to leg shot people before I wind up an ambush, just to make sure that they sit still and they can't line of sight me or whatever. Because ambush kind of takes a while to wind up. It takes 1 3/4 of a second to wind up, unless you used 2 snipes before you use an ambush. Because in the tree here it says, so where does it actually say it? Let me see. Okay, so snipe reduces the activation time of your next ambush by 1/4 of a second, and it stacks up to 2 times. So if you hit 2 snipes first and then wind up an ambush, your ambush cast time is reduced by 1/2 a second. Okay, but just to make sure people can't line of sight me or try to get away, I just go ahead and hit them with the leg shot first, and then wind up a big ambush, and they have to just sit there and take it. Okay, other skills here we got. Okay, so getting back to Imperial Preparation, because I was talking about defensive cooldowns and stuff. So the harder part for me to pick up when I first started playing Sniper is to properly use like all of my defensive cooldowns and then reset it with Imperial Preparation so that I can use it again. Okay, because that's what makes snipers so hard to kill, if you can use your defensive cooldowns correctly. So let's just say I'm here and I'm fighting, I use my entrench, they can't CC him or whatever. I'm getting tunneled by a couple melee, then I'll throw my diversion on myself, stay here and fight, turn on my evasion at some point, turn on my shield probe, and then roll away and try to deal some more damage. And then if they're still on me, then you can hit your Imperial Preparation, reset your roll, reset your evasion, okay, and reset your shield probe. It's pretty nice. Oh, and it also resets countermeasures, so you can use countermeasures, run away, reset Imperial Preparation, and then use all of those skills again. Okay, yeah, so offensive utilities. Alright, lays target, increases the critical hit chance of your next ambush by 100%. Okay, and then inherently ambush does a lot of damage because it ignores 20% of the target's armor. So ambush always has 20% armor pen, and then while you're doing your skills, you will just increase more armor pen of certain skills. Like here, this one increases critical hit chance of snipe and follow through by 4%. Additionally increases armor pen by 10%. Alright, and then another good one here is, where is it? Yeah, snipe grants Marksman's finesse, increasing the armor pen and damage dealt by your next follow through by 10%. Stacks up to 2 times. And then dealing damage with ambush to a target with less than 30% health grants finish the job, increasing the damage of your next takedown by 20%. Takedown is your execute, remember? You can only use it on targets that are 30% health or less. Okay, so if you use an ambush on a target that's 30% health or less, it'll make your next ambush hit harder, okay? So by 20%. Alright. So lays target, next one is target acquired, increases ranged and tech accuracy by 30% and armor pen by 15% for 10 seconds. So increasing your accuracy. So this is a good skill to use when, you're forced to try and DPS through, like, for example, a saber ward or a deflection or something. Any skill that grants like higher defense rating or chance to dodge incoming, weapon damage attacks or something like that. Target acquired is a good skill to counter that a little bit, and it increases your armor pen. Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for like the utilities and stuff like that. We'll talk about, or the defensive skills and utility skills. What the heck? Okay, so let's get into the tree here. There's different ways to set it up. This is how I do it for regular war zones. I don't really play this in ranked, so I can't really give you guys a guide for that, but this is what I do for regs. Okay, so first one here. Entering cover grants 3 charges of ballistic dampers. Each charge absorbs 30% of the damage dealt by an incoming attack. So you always get into cover, you know, because you're a sniper, so naturally you will always get into cover. Every time you get into cover, you gain damage reduction. Okay, so that's just good overall. And then the next one is entering cover makes the next snipe activate instantly. Okay, so this is just to get damage off faster. You know, the faster you can hit your snipes, the more resets you'll get on your follow-throughs, and the faster you'll get your reduced cast time on your ambushes. Okay, so alright, and the next one I take is seek cover. So when entrench ends or you leave cover while entrench is active, you gain seek cover, which increases your movement speed by 50% and grants immunity to movement impairing effects. Lasts for 6 seconds. So example, okay, I'm gonna get into cover, I'm gonna hit my entrench. Okay, now when I leave entrench, I gain movement speed like this. Okay, it's not a lot, and I think you can tell more when you're actually in combat versus when you're out of combat, but you know, and here it is, I gain movement speed again. Okay, alright. Reestablish range. This is the one we talked about earlier. Countermeasures, purges movement impairing effects, and penetrating blast. You know, the last hit will knock them back. Alright, next one is reduces the cooldown of entrench by 15 seconds, and cover pulse knocks the targets back an additional 5 meters. Okay, so normally your cover pulse will knock them back, what does it say here? Several meters, and immobilize them for 5 seconds. It's funny how it doesn't actually give you a, you know, unit of measurement here. It just says several meters, but either way, when we take this, it'll knock them back an additional 5 meters. But it's not really what we're using this point for. We're using it more for the entrench cooldown. Okay, because your entrench has a 45-second cooldown. Oh well, 1 minute normally. I'm using this point here, so it has 45-second cooldown. You know, when it's active, it lasts for 23 seconds. So that's 23 seconds that you can't be CC'd. So then all you have to do is wait another, what, 22 seconds? And then you'll have entrench up, and you can't be CC'd for the next 23 seconds again. And then you can also use your Imperial Preparation to finish the cooldown of your entrench, so you can reactivate it again. So it's just more uptime of, you know, being able to not be CC'd, because I don't know, the whole thing, you know, the way that I play sniper is like, I don't want to be CC'd. And you know, if you can't be CC'd, then people won't CC you, and then you can continue to free cast, you know. But yeah, so this is the point that I take. I also like taking the debilitating shots. This is the one that after you use your leg shot, the target is slowed by 75% for 3 seconds after it wears off. So it's pretty funny, because you root them, and then they're rooted for a little bit, and then after they're done being rooted, they're super slow. So it just adds another little level of, you know, control to leg shot. And then also series of snares. No, not that one. I also like this one, lumbering impact. So your shatter shot, that's the one that reduces healing received when you apply it on an enemy target. This one will slow the target by 50% for 10 seconds. So that's pretty nice too. And shatter shot doesn't have a cooldown either. So you can just apply it and then apply it again, and just keep targets, you know, slowed. And then it also has, you know, when flashbang ends, it leaves behind a flash powder that reduces the target's accuracy by 20% for 8 seconds. Which is another nice little utility to add to flashbang. So sometimes I'll take that. Sometimes I'll take debilitating shots, but that's up to you. Even having you know, lower cooldowns on maim and flashbang is pretty nice. But yeah, either way, I'll leave it up to you guys, but for now this is the way that I'm running it. And then we have hold your ground, reduces the cooldown of shield probe and cover pulse by 5 seconds, and escape by 30 seconds. So cover pulse is your push, okay, reduces the cooldown on your push. Escape is your CC breaker, it reduces the cooldown of that by 30 seconds, and then in addition, when you exit cover, you gain a cover screen that increases your range defense by 20% for 6 seconds. So this kind of goes nicely with reestablish range, or no, not reestablish range, seek cover, right? So earlier I said, you know, when I get in cover, oh whoops, I hit the target. When I get in cover here and I use my entrench, okay, when I leave, I gain movement speed. Okay, but now I also gain range defense. You know, it increases my range defense by 20% for 6 seconds. So every time I leave cover now, I have move speed and I have increased range defense by 20%. Okay, so that's mainly better for, you know, other other weapon damage ranged classes, so mercenaries, other snipers, okay, stuff like that. Alright, here we go. In Legendary Tactical Retreat, Covered Escape heals you for 10% of your maximum health. Additionally, the duration of evasion is increased by 2 seconds. So your evasion here, 1 minute cooldown, normally lasts for 3 seconds, but now it lasts for 5 seconds, okay? And 2 extra seconds makes a difference between life or death. Okay, so I really like that utility. And also, your roll will heal you for a small amount, okay? So sometimes you'll take damage, you roll away, get some health back, and if you have to reset your roll with Imperial Preparation, you can roll again and get some more health back, okay? And then we have Over Prepared. This one reduces the cooldown of Imperial Preparation by 45 seconds and increases your damage reduction by 15% for 15 seconds after activating Imperial Preparation. So if you don't remember, Imperial Preparation was the one that resets the cooldowns on all your main defensive abilities, right? Like countermeasures, roll, evasion, shield probe, and entrench. And so now this has a much lower cooldown, and it gives you damage reduction when you use it. Okay, this is really nice for regs. It has a 2 minute and 15-second cooldown with this point down here. If I didn't take this, it would be on a 3 minute cooldown, and then, you know, you would just not be able to use your defensive skills as often. Okay, another good one down here, maybe for ranked, well, for sure for ranked, I'm pretty sure people are taking this, defensive safeguard. So ballistic shield, basically when your ballistic shield is active and there's people standing in it, you know, this one, you gain health regen back for each person that's inside of the ballistic shield. It says here, let's see, you gain a charge of defensive safeguards for each enemy inside your shield, up to 4. So if there's 4 people inside your shield, it increases your damage reduction by 5%. In addition, while inside your shield, you heal for 1% of your max health every second, and you are immune to being pulled or knocked back. So I think this 5%, if that's just for one person. If there's 4 people standing inside of it, then you have your damage reduction up to 20%. And then you heal for 1% per person that's inside of the shield. So I think you heal for 4% of your max health every second, and you're immune to being pulled or knocked back. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a sniper main, but yeah. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the rotation here, because I pretty much talked about everything else. You know, your defensive utilities, how to reset it, and you know, being in cover, and using your entrench to make sure you stay unCCable. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna get on the dummy here. So first thing we gotta do is we always gotta crouch. Okay, so you can enter crouch by just, you know, hitting crouch, or you can enter crouch by rolling. Okay, and then you'll be entrenched for 3 seconds, and then after those 3 seconds you can hit your entrench button and gain your entrench there. Okay, so I usually like to just straight up open with a lace target and target acquired, and then hit a fat ambush. Like I just wind it up like right from the get-go. But you could either hit them with an instant snipe first, and then another snipe to make your ambush, you know, channel for half a second, you know, faster. And just remember that every time you hit an ambush, you get a free follow-through. Every time you hit 2 snipes, you get a free follow-through. And every time you use a penetrating blast, you get a free follow-through. So basically the rotation is just these 4 skills. The only other skills you're going to include in it is like leg shot if you want to keep them still, or shatter shot if you want to reduce the healing that they're getting. And then when they're finally below 30% health, you can use a takedown. Okay, so here we go. Lace target, target acquired, crouch, ambush. Boom, then you get a follow through. Okay, snipe. I got a free snipe from crouching the first time. Hit another snipe, get a follow through. Okay, snipe, use a penetrating blast, reset the follow through, wind up an ambush. Okay, get another follow through, hit another snipe. And if you want to get a free snipe, you just move and go back into cover and then snipe again. Okay, like that. Okay, snipe, penetrating blast, finish follow through. Okay, wind up an ambush, get another follow through, snipe. And if you don't want to hard cast a snipe, you can just move, get back into cover, and then activate a instant cast snipe from this snapshot here. Okay. All right, and that's basically it. Like, there's not a whole lot to the rotation on Marksman Sniper. Like I said, most of the things that you need to worry about is your defensive utilities and positioning, and you know, just making sure that you're in the right place at the right time. Okay, so penetrating blast, finish a follow through, hit another snipe, wind up in ambush, get a free follow through. I can move if I want and get a instant snipe there. Okay, penetrating blast, follow through, get an instant snipe, wind up in ambush, follow through, get another snipe. This should reset my, if I do 2 snipes, reset my follow through, get one there. Okay, penetrating blast. Okay, get another follow through, wind up a snipe or ambush. Okay, get another follow through. You get the idea. Okay, the rotation is not that hard. Okay, let's see, additional tips. You can only use your AoE spam ability when you're in cover. This uses a lot of energy though, so if you spam it too much, you're gonna fall low on energy, and then you won't be able to continue with your regular single target rotation. But if you are getting low on energy, you have Adrenaline Probe. Okay, summons a droid that helps you recover 50 energy over 3 seconds. Alright, and then also if you're getting low on energy and you don't want to keep spamming too hard, then just use your rifle shot, which is your basic attack. It costs no energy and it has no cooldown. Alright, that's pretty much it for the guide. Oh wait, hold on, gear. I'm still playing around with the gear. I haven't found like the best balance yet, because I did like a really low alacrity build with like just the tier 1, you know, the 7.14 or 7.15 alacrity with really high power, and that one gets really nice big hits, but without the alacrity to help with your cast times, you know, sometimes ambush takes a long time to activate, and snipe is also an activation unless you're getting the free snipe from snapshot. So everything is casted basically, right? You have to cast these 2 skills a lot to get your follow-throughs. So I went with a high alacrity build, which is like the 15.41, but then, you know, there's a give and take, right? If you have really high alacrity, then you're going to lose out on primary damage, you're going to lose out on bonus damage. So you have to find the balance there. So I found that, you know, I'm trying to keep the damage as high as possible with the crit as high as possible. You for sure need 110% accuracy, because all of your attacks are white damage or weapon damage, right? So you need the 110 accuracy for sure. And then with the alacrity, I think I found my happy medium with around 12%. I don't necessarily think I need the extra, you know, global cooldown reduction for the 1.3 global cooldown. I think I just need just enough alacrity to make sure that my ambushes and my snipes and my penetrating blasts don't take, you know, forever and a day to channel. Okay, so this is how I have it set up here. You know, trying to get close to 45% crit, 110 accuracy. I have my alacrity, you know, in a happy medium in between tier 1 and tier 2, and then just throw the rest of everything into mastery and power. This guy is pretty undergeared. Like I said, this is my least played character, but maybe later when he gets his main hand and offhand, then I'll show you guys the difference in damage. But anyway, that's it for the guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it helped. If it did, leave a like. If you're new, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on another one. Peace.